Welcome back to Garden Ninja. Today I'm going to be fitting a green roof to a shed, and I've been supplied with some green roof materials from Green Roofs Direct. I'm going to show you my speedy guide how you can convert a garden shed to something both beautiful and environmentally friendly. So come on, let's get cracking. So the sedum I'm using today here has been supplied by Green Roofs Direct. And they're an Irish company that specialise in green roofs, and they have done for the last 30 years. The reason why we've chosen them is that their sedum is super tough because it's been exposed to the sea and it's really hardy, so it's had that hardening off period, whereas some other types of sedum may have been grown under glass or propagated in a protected environment, and when you bring them out they go into shock, and it's really not the best when you're putting a green roof on. So they're super tough. They've been doing it for years, and the sedum album is going to be ideal to withstand the conditions of an exposed shed on this plot. So before we do anything, we need to fit a frame around the roof of the shed that's about 3 centimetres taller than the actual roof felt, because this will be the box that the substrate and then the sedum sit on, and it will keep it protected and stop it just blowing off. So you need to measure twice, cut once, and measure the outside of your shed to create the box that again is 3 centimetres higher than the roof. So I'm going to do that now. So I've measured my timber frame and I've just drilled my pilot holes, and what I'm going to do now is taking these galvanised decking screws, I'm going to screw them through into the batten under the roof, and that will secure this frame. So you can use a pond liner, but I'm using this really thick plastic and I'm going to use it 2-ply. So I've got a staple gun and I'm going to pin it to the edge of this lip here. So the waterproof layer has now been attached to the roof of the shed, and the next stage is to put the front lip on the very front of the shed and then move on to the protective fleece. So what I'm going to do now is put this root-proof felting on, and what this does is it protects the roof from the roots of the sedum. So you put this on top of your waterproof membrane, and it means that it prevents the roots from getting through, so it basically allows it to sit on top but not root through the roof. So I'm going to put this on now and then apply the substrate. Now the substrate layer is a free draining mix, as you can see here, of sort of sand and inert materials such as rocks and grit, and what that will allow is for the sedum to root into that substrate to get its moisture from there, and to also anchor the sedum once it starts to take. So it's really important, and I'm going to put about a 2 centimetre layer in that tray on top of the fleece, and then move on to the final part, which is unrolling that sedum blanket. Now always take care when lifting the substrate because it is quite heavy, so my advice would be, if you're not as strong as a garden ninja, get a friend to help you and lift it up one bag at a time and then open it on the roof. Alternatively, you can pour it into a bucket and take it up in stages, which is probably the easiest method. So I'm going to take it up now and spread this out. So the easiest way to get this on is to lift it onto the roof, split the bag, and then using a rake, ta-da! Spread it out over the roof, but be careful, if you use the sharp end you can pierce the waterproof membrane. So my top tip is use the back side. It's a bit slower, then you want to rake it out until it's about 2 centimetres in depth. So we'll do that now. So the sedum I'm going to use today is here, and it's sedum alba. And it's beautifully green and has year-round colour. It's also super hardy and will go down to conditions sort of -25, I'm told. It's also really drought resistant, so if you have a really baking hot summer, it's not just going to keel over and crisp up. And it's ideal for thin, poor soils, so it makes an excellent form of sedum for a green roof. Now I've unrolled these blankets, I've given them a good soaking, and I'm ready to start to get them on top of the green roof and the timber frame that I've just constructed. So now that I've got the substrate up on the roof and the sun is out, I'm now going to re-roll one of these blankets of sedum, simply for ease of getting up the ladder and on top. And you want to try and keep your pieces in as large a section as possible when putting them out, Like turf, you don't want lots of bits stuck together because the edges dry out and it's difficult to take. So keep them as big as possible, but only insofar as that you can lift them up, or get a friend. So I'm going to roll this and pop it on top now. So there we have it, how to fit your very own green roof on top of your shed. And this green roof was supplied by Green Roofs Direct, who are excellent, and this quality of sedum is second to none, so I've got no problem with knowing that this is going to take. But I am going to water it twice a week for the first couple of weeks until I see new growth. If you've liked this video, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel for more garden design tips and hints. I've been Garden Ninja, I'm off for a brew and to get down off these ladders. Happy gardening.